everyone, good evening, and welcome back to Thorough Newspaper Analysis. Now, today is 6th of September, and this entire video series it's brought to you by Losico. Let's quickly have a look at the agenda for today. So, the first is the editorial segment, and here we've combined two Indian Express articles because they pertain to the very same issue. The first article it is titled as India, that is Bharat, how the Constituent Assembly chose. Second article is 1949 to 2020, how the bid to rename the country, it didn't exactly fly. The second segment for today's discussion would be the news update segment. And thirdly, we talk about the important legal news of the day. So without further ado, let's start with the article and let's see the context of this entire issue. So recently, when the presidential invites were sent to the G20 leaders, instead of making use of the traditional term, which is President of India, the Indian president was referred to as the President of Bharat. As and when this news came to the forefront, a lot of speculation followed because experts are trying to see whether the government has the intention of changing the name of our country from India to Bharat. And this is in fact seen in light of another recent development wherein the Parliamentary Affairs Minister announced that there is going to be a special session of the Indian Parliament from, I believe, 18th of September. So the experts are trying to see whether this issue of change of name would be taken up in the special session of the Parliament or not. So for now, for today's discussion, our agenda is this. We're going to see how the present form of the in Article 1 of Indian Constitution it was adopted, who said what on the entire matter of whether using the term Bharat or India would be right for referring to our country. On September 18th in 1949, draft Article 1 of the Indian Constitution it was formally adopted by the Constituent Assembly. Article 1, I would like to at the very outset mention that its marginal note it provides for name and territory of the Union, and its clause 1 it says India, that is Bharat, it shall be a union of states. So we can see from Article 1 clearly that our country is referred to in this manner, which is India, that is Bharat. Now, the Constitution, originally drafted in English, it does not refer to the term Bharat in any other provision apart from Article 1. Even our preamble, it refers to as we the people of India. So let's see what are the various arguments on Bharat and India as the name of our country. The first debate on Article 1, it was to begin somewhere in November in 1948. However, on the suggestion of one member, who is Govind Ballabh Pant, this entire discussion was postponed to a later date. And about a year later, in September 1949, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he presented to the House the final version of the article or the provision, which included both of these terms, which is Bharat and India. Several members, however, they expressed their opposition to the use of the term India because they were of the opinion that this term it is going to remind us of our colonial past and the very dark period whereas suppression was repressed by the hands of the alien rulers. The first member to express his opinion was Seth Govindas. He was from Jabalpur and he preferred to place the term Bharat over the term India. There was a popular demand by several members. It was also to underline that the term India it was a substitute for the term Bharat in English language. Seth Govindas, he stated, and I quote, India, that is Bharat, it was his opinion that this combination, India, that is Bharat, it was not beautiful words for referring to the name of a country. We should have put the words in this manner, which is Bharat known as India also in foreign countries. Second, we have the opinion of Hari Vishnu Kamath. He used the example of the Irish constitution and he argued that India, it was only a translation of the term Bharat. In the Irish constitution, there is a provision which states the name of the state of Eire, or in the English language, Ireland. So this article, it categorically states that as far as our language is concerned, we're going to call our country as state of Eire, and its English language, it would be translated, or it would be pronounced rather, as Ireland. So Kamath was also arguing that India was only a translation of the term Bharat. He stated, and I quote, if honorable colleagues in the House would take the trouble of referring to the Irish Constitution passed in 1937, they will see that the Irish Free State, it was one of the few countries in the modern world which changed its name after achieving freedom. And the fourth article of this constitution, which is this article, it refers to the change in the name of the land. Third up, we have the opinion of Hargobind Pant. He represented the hill districts of the United Provinces, and he made it clear that the people of northern India, they wanted to make use of this term, which is Bharat Varsha or Bharatvarsh, and nothing else. Pant argued, so far as the word India it is concerned, the members, they seem to have, and I really fail to understand why, some attachment for this term. He further added, we must know that this name it was given to our country by the foreigners who, having heard of the riches of this land, they were tempted towards it, and they had robbed us of our freedom in order to acquire the wealth of our very own country. If we even then clinch to the term India, then it would only show that we are not ashamed of having this insulting word which has been imposed on us by the alien rulers. Now let's see the use of the term Bharat in some of our ancient scriptures and ancient texts. So Das, he argued that the Vishnu Puran and the Brahma Puran, they mention the term Bharat. The other members, they said that the 17th century Chinese traveler Huan Sang, he had referred to the country as Bharat. Further, Das argued, by naming our country as Bharat, we're not doing anything which will prevent us from marching forward. We should indeed give ourselves a name to our country as may be befitting our history and our culture. Also, Kamath suggested Bharat or Bharatvarsha or Bharat Bhumi as that are derived from our scriptures. And referring to the ancient texts, he said, historians and philologists, they've delved deep into this matter of the name of this country, especially the origin of this name Bharat. So he said that while all of these historians, they may not have agreed to a common genesis of this term Bharat, but they certainly have referred to our country as Bharat. Now, when Kamath made this intervention of referring to the historical background and the origin of this term, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he did not specifically have or express any opinion on what should be the use or what should be the name of our country. He just said that the discussion in the House, it is not whether we're going to use the term Bharat or not. He said we're already using the term Bharat. Our point of discussion is Bharat. Do we put it after India? Do we put it before? So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he reminded the House several times that the civilizational debate, it was not needed, it was unnecessary, since the name Bharat, it was not opposed by the members. We are merely now discussing whether the word Bharat, it should come after India. He said in response to Kamath's intervention, this. And when Kishori Mohan Tripathi, he talked at word Bharat reminded everyone of the past glory of India, Ambedkar again asked if this was necessary. Now let's have a look at some of the post-independence development on this entire issue. And for that, we go 2, 3 years back in 2020, when Chief Justice, the then Chief Justice of India, S.A. Bobde, he dismissed a PIL seeking a name change. Justice Bobde, while refusing to hear the plea, Bharat and India both are names given in the constitution. India, it is already called Bharat in the constitution. Another development comes from 2015, where the BJP led center it had told the Supreme Court in response to a PIL, again calling for the name change of the name. So in 2015 also, the Supreme Court saw a PIL which sought the change of the name of our country. And here, an affidavit was Ministry of Home Affairs. And here in this affidavit, the BJP led government, it stated there is no change in the circumstances since the Constituent Assembly debated the issue to warrant a review. So it decided against, it expressed its opinion against the change of name. And as a result, the Supreme Court dismissed this plea. Another development comes from 2004 when the UP Assembly passed a resolution that the constitution must be amended to say Bharat, that is India, instead of India, that is Bharat. While the then Chief Minister Mulayam Singh Yadav, he moved the resolution. This resolution was adopted unanimously when the BJP-led opposition it walked out before the resolution was passed. Here we need to understand that the names of the villages, towns, railway stations they are changed under the revenue laws of the states. Why? Because the matter of land it falls in the state list in the seventh schedule. However, when it comes to changing the name of our country, and also in these changing of name, the approval of the Union Home Minister it is needed. After which the state government it issues the notification in the official gazette. But if we were let's say change the name of any state, so then there is another mechanism, so there has to be a change in the constitution. Article 2 and Article 3 of the constitution which lists out the names of the state via the help of a schedule in the union, it can be changed with a simple majority. If you followed yesterday's TNA, we've discussed the different types of different methods of amending the constitution. Method is the simple majority method, and Article 2 and 3 read with Article 4 they fall in the first category, which is simple majority category. Now if we have a look at the changing of name of states in 2011, the name of Orissa it was changed to Odisha. In 2004 Uttaranchal was renamed as Uttarakhand, while in 1973 Mysore it was renamed as Karnataka, and in 1969 named as Tamil Nadu. And with this, let's proceed to the national news segment for today. So the first news update in the national category is this, which is hockey team. It beat Pakistan to win men's hockey 5S Asia Cup. In hockey, India beat Pakistan in penalty shootout in the final to win the inaugural session of men's hockey 5S Asia Cup 2023 in Salalah in Oman. This win it also served as India's qualifying tournament for the FIH Men's Hockey 5S World Cup Oman 2024. India qualified for this tournament. This is the first time in 3 meetings that India has beaten Pakistan in hockey 5S format. In the shootout, Pakistan missed all their chances while Mahinder Singh he hit the hammer in the coffin to score India's second goal in the shootout. Pakistan reached the final earlier after defeating Oman by a lead of 7-3. For the remarkable performance, Hockey India it has announced rupees 2 lakh to each player of the team, while rupees 1 lakh it has been announced for the support staff. SBI announces interoperability of CBDC and UPI for seamless transactions. This is all you need to know. The State Bank of India, it has announced that it has implemented UPI interoperability in its digital rupee, which is called digital currency. Let's understand this concept first and then we go about this news. So the Reserve Bank of India, it launched the CBDC pilot program in 2022, which is last year. The Indian CBDC, which is the central bank digital currency, or so to say, the Indian digital currency, which is backed by the RBI. It is also known as digital rupee. It represents a tokenized digital version of. So now, State Bank of India, it has announced the release of the UPI interoperability in its digital rupee. And the SBI, in its statement, which was released on Monday, it has stated, and I quote, this feature, accessible through the e-Rupee by SBI application, it will empower SBI CBDC users to scan any merchant UPI QR code for transactions. Set to increase the adoption of RBI CBDC, as it would now be able to depend on the distribution system which is built by the leading banks. Apart from SBI, the other banks have also been, inclusive of this entire development and have the or who have made live the inclusion of UPI interoperability. They are Kotak Mahindra Bank, Yes Bank, Axis Bank, HDFC. So, what is the CBDC push? See, as part of the Reserve Bank of India's CBDC pilot project, multiple Indian banks, they've announced the introduction of UPI interoperability feature on the digital rupee application. So what does this means in simple terms? See, this means that digital rupee app users, they can simply scan a QR code to make payments for groceries and for daily expenses. So, a question arises as to will the merchants have to install new QR codes, or should the older QR codes be sufficient? So, merchants would not be required to replace their current QR codes. They would only need to display a single QR code on their storefront or via the banking mobile application, which would accept the CBDC. India Bank, it partners with One Card for mobile first premium metal card. India Bank, it has partnered with One Card to introduce state-of-art mobile first contactless metal co-branded credit cards. This partnership, it aims at empowering users with full digital control over their credit card interactions, ranging from having a real-time EMI conversion, reward redemption, repayments, monthly budget planning, to credit limit adjustments and seamless payment. The card, it comes with lifelong or lifetime validity and zero joining and annual fees. Anurag Singh, who is the co-founder and the CEO of One Card, he stated, and I quote, this partnership, it is a testament to our commitment to reimagining and redefining credit offerings together the strong balance sheet and long-standing brand and trust of a large public sector bank. One Card, it is essentially a mobile first metal credit card which is launched and managed by FPL Technologies in partnership with issuer banks. FPL Technologies, it was founded by Anurag Sinha, Rupesh Kumar and Vibhav Hathi in 2019. Moving on to the CCI, which is the Competition Commission of India, it has recently approved the merger of Vistara with Air India, as well as allowed Singapore Airlines to acquire 25.1% stake in the erstwhile national carrier. With this CCI note, Air India, it has completed a major regulatory procedure towards becoming a company that comprises four airlines, including Air Asia India Press, apart from Vistara. Singapore Airlines, which is a co-owner of Vistara alongside Tata Sons, it will get 25.1% stake in Air India and make an investment of rupees 2000 crore in Tata-owned airline as part of an arrangement last year to merge their joint venture airlines with Air India. Vistara will be integrated with Air India to form its full service business, while Air Asia India, it will be merged with Air India Express to form the group company's low cost arm. The latter's merger, it is expected to conclude by March of next year. This has brought us to the international segment for today, where this is the first update. China is to set up a new agency to promote private sector growth. China's top, it is creating a new department to help private business. The latest step by the government to revive confidence in the sector and to bolster growth. The Private Economy Development Bureau, it will be responsible for tracking and for analyzing the state of the industry, along with coordinating and drafting policies to promote its growth. This was announced recently by the National Development. The new bureau, it will also regularly talk to companies and it is going to help them resolve their main problems and also provide support in their attempts to improve international competitiveness. So, why this need is felt for forming this new department? This is because of the troubled private sector. Private firms, they are major employers in the economy of China and they contribute to more than half of the nation's fixed. However, years of regulatory crackdowns and pandemic controls, they shattered the confidence in in the sector, with once dominant firms like Alibaba Group Holding Limited shrinking very drastically. Therefore, concerns about private enterprise, they are acute this year as the economy struggles to combat a laundry list of challenges from the property crisis and falling exports to deflationary pressures. So, therefore, this is the government outlook, which is towards helping or providing boost to the private sector. So, Beijing has unveiled policies in recent months which are intended to revitalize the private companies and attract foreign investment. In fact, in July, the ruling Communist Party and the government, it pledged to treat private companies the same as the state-owned enterprises, which is seen by investors at the time as the framework for future support. UAE's Sultan Al Nayadi, he returns to Earth after space missions. For astronauts, they've returned to the Earth after a 6 month stay at the International Space Station. Their SpaceX capsule, it parachuted into the Atlantic off the Florida coast. The four astronauts who returned, it includes two NASA astronauts. One is Stephen Bowen and Woody Hoburg. There's Russia's participant as well, who is Andriy Fedyev, and we have the fourth being from UAE, who is Sultan Al Nayadi. He is the first person from the Arab world to spend an extended time in orbit. During the mission, Al Nayadi has become both the first Emirati astronaut to go on a long term space mission and also the first Emirati astronaut to, but it is to be noted that Al Nayadi is not the first Emirati to go aboard the International Space Station because that honor it goes to Haza Al Mansouri, who lived on the space station for about 8 days in 2019. Al Nayadi is embarked on the mission as part of the agreement which was signed between Texas-based Axiom Space and the Mohammed Center. This was UAE's second human space flight and the Arab world's first extended mission, as well as the first time that an Arab astronaut performed a spacewalk. And with this, we come to the last segment for today, where we talk about this Supreme Court judgment. Judge is not a mere recording machine, must actively search for truth in trial. This was stated by the Supreme Court in the case of Munna, state of Bihar. The Supreme Court, it has recently overturned a judgment of the Patna High Court, wherein the High Court had confirmed the death sentence of a convict for the offense of rape and murder of a 10-year-old girl after finding several faults with the High Court's approach. So while remitting the matter for reconsideration of the High Court or by the High Court, the top court, it made strong observation about the concept. The court observed, and I quote, a fair trial, it is one in which the rules of evidence they are honored, the accused has competent counsel, and the judge he enforces the proper courtroom procedures. A trial in which every assumption can be challenged. While opining that free and fair trial it is sine qua non of Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, the bench further expounded it is not fair and free, then the confidence of the public in the judicial fairness of a judge and the justice delivery system, it would be shaken. Denial to fair trial, it is as much injustice to the accused as to the victim and the society. No trial, it can be treated as fair trial unless there is an impartial judge who is conducting the trial, an honest, able and fair defense counsel, honest, able and fair public prosecutor. A fair trial, it necessarily includes fair and proper opportunity to the prosecutor to prove the guilt of the accused and also provides an opportunity to the accused to prove his innocence. And with this, we come to an end of our TNA. In case you want to get access to the free study material and the TNA slides that we curate, please refer to the link joining our Telegram channel. You may also scan the barcode here for the same purpose. These are the point of contacts in case you want to get in touch with Law Seekho. Thank you for being with us and stay tuned.